23-20, Cardinals lose last night on Thursday Night Football to the Seattle Seahawks to drop to 2-2 on the season. Since they got the mini bye now, next up they'll take on the Tennessee Titans at home next week. And joining us right now on the Burns and Gambo Show to talk about this game, which gave us all kinds of frustrations last night, Ring of Honor member from the Arizona Cardinals, Adrian Wilson.
One of the best ever.
Who joins us here on the Burns and Gambo Show. A-Dub, hope this call finds you well, man. How we doing?
All good, brother. How you guys doing?
Hey, good to talk to you, my friend. Can't wait to move back to Arizona. We'll go grab some dinner at that place in Chandler that we like.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's talk a little bit about that game. Me and you were texting a little bit back and forth last night. You were active on social media. Tell me what you were seeing with the disconnect between Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr., especially in the first three quarters.
Yeah, I don't think there's a disconnect. I think whenever you look at the game and you go back and you watch the game, Seattle probably blitzed maybe 10 times in the whole game. They played a lot of too-high safety. They played a lot of vanilla coverages, whether it was quarter half, whether it was man free, whether it was cover three. They didn't really give them a lot of looks in terms of coverage. But when you don't have a run game and James Conner is out for the year and you don't have a guy that's able to kind of go in there and make the defense respect your run game, that's when you can really sit back in your too-high shell. And that's a defensive coordinator's dream, just to be able to sit back in too-high and just play coverage.
Because, the other thing is like McBride, right? You love Trey McBride. He's a great player.
I do.
But without having a run game, how does that affect what he's able to do?
As a tight end, this isn't like the early 2000s and late 90s, when one player can kind of take over a passing game. I really do love Trey McBride. I love what he brings to the table in terms of his pass catching ability in the run game. He's a really good blocker in the run game as well. But when you don't have that run game and you don't have the ability to play action off that run game and get open in terms of the middle of the field, and just really create seams down the middle of the field for Kyler to really see. That's really difficult. And I don't really see, a guy like Trey really, he can carry a team for a little while, but then, teams are going to end up keying in on him, end up doubling him or rotating coverage to him, and it's going to make the game a lot harder for them offensively.
So what then, from your mind, is the solution to this offense, and how much of that solution centers around Marvin Harrison Jr. and things needing to get better in terms of how he's being used and how he produces?
Yeah, I don't think that it's all on Marvin Harrison Jr. I know the draft status, drafted number 4, and that comes with a lot of expectation. But at the end of the day, it is a team game. Offensively, and one guy isn't going to make all 11 guys go. I think at the end of the day, you have to really sit back. They have the mini bye week. They can sit back and really, think about how they want to employ their offense going forward. Because, again, the offense is dictated off of a power run game, being able to play action off that power run game, utilize your tight ends, which they do a great job of, and being able to take shots down the field. So if you don't have the power run game, then what are you going to be? Because Trey Benson isn't an inside runner like James Conner. He isn't the hammer that's going to go in there and make defenses respect the run game. So, going in there and, I'm pretty sure that the pro scouts are probably on the wire, looking at power backs or guys that can at least, make the defense respect the run game, especially the power run game. Whether you pull in backside guards, whatever the case may be, you're opening up seams down the middle of the field where you can hit Trey McBride, where you can hit Marvin Harrison Jr. So I just think those guys need to go back to the drawing board in this mini bye and really just look at what they can, improve on going into, it's 4 games into the season. So, the season's not over with and they're 2-2.
Cardinals Ring of Honor safety Adrian Wilson, A-Dub, as our guest here on the Burns and Gambo Show. And again, not trying to hyper-focus here on Marvin Harrison Jr., but I'm just curious from your perspective, the way that game started for him, the way that game ended for him, how much confidence do you think he can draw from the things that he was able to do in the second half as a way to pull a little confidence out of that game last night?
As easy as me to say that he needs to block out the noise and just focus on the day-to-day task of just being a good player, because he has it in him to be as good as he wants to be. At the end of the day, it's the noise, it's the outside noise, is not playing how he played at Ohio State. Like all those little things kind of factor into it. And again, I'll always go back to the draft status. Being drafted number 4, the expectations that come with that, yes, that weighs heavy on a player. But at the end of the day, and I said it yesterday, dogs got to be dogs. Like you can't allow a team to roll coverage and really just take you out the game. And, the touchdown catch that he made in the end zone, that was a great throw by Kyler. But at the same time, that was covered. You know what I'm saying? Like that was covered. He had help underneath and over the top. And that was a hell of a catch by Marvin Harrison Jr. But again, like dogs got to be dogs. And, I stated this before, I was in the locker room with Q and Fitz, and those guys came to work. I'm talking about every day. It wasn't a day where they did not come to work and they had ill intentions on their mind every single Sunday. and I witnessed that. So again, that wide receiver room, just for the Cardinals as an organization, as a whole, that comes with a lot of expectations, just like the safety room does, and you have to know what you're walking into. And I think he does. He just needs time. He's a young player.
Sure.
He needs time to develop. He needs time to understand the nuances of the game. And it's not all on him at the end of the day.
Let's go back to Fitz, because you played with Fitz for a long time. He had Anquan to push him a little bit, but he had a lot of help, along the way as well from a great support cast. Do you think? And Marvin, when Marvin got drafted, I think everybody thought he was going to be the next Larry Fitzgerald, the next great receiver for this organization. What does he need support-wise to help him become a better player?
I think, really when you really, drill down into, when you drafting players and you expect a player to come in and contribute right away, you got to have a support system around him, whether or not it's, the offensive scheme, whether it's the wide receiver coach, like whatever it is, you have to make sure that you have somebody that's in that room, whether it's a player, a veteran player, or whether it's a veteran wide receiver coach that can really take the guy underneath his wing and really show him the ins and outs of the game. And I don't know the wide receiver coach there. I'm not speaking bad on him or any of those things. But again, when I was there in Arizona and I was playing there, obviously we had Jerry Sullivan there. He's a hell of a wide receiver coach.
Yep.
And the nuances of route running, like all those things, like Fitz and Q, like all those guys had to learn that. And they took, it took time. And, he just needs time to develop. But at the same time, you have to have a plan in place moving forward when you do draft a guy like that at number 4 with the expectations. You bring him into a room. Does he have a veteran in that room that can show him how it's done? I don't care who his dad is. He still has to go out there and play the game himself at the end of the day. So being able to really surround him with the support that he needs, just to grow and mature. I think that's the next step for him, is to grow and mature inside of the game when teams like Seattle that play too high, that just rushes 4, and it's all coverage, not being able to take him away.
Yeah. We've got a complicated feeling on Kyler, right? He's not a bad quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's good. I asked him when we had him on in training camp, I said, what do you have to do to elevate the players around you? What do you have to do to get more shots down the field? I mean, it's been 650-something passes since he's had a 50-yard pass. I mean, he's had one 50-yard pass in the last 4 years. What do you see when you watch Kyler Murray play? I mean, is this who he is, or is there another level to his game?
No, I think at the end of the day, Kyler is a hell of a quarterback. I think any team in the National Football League, besides the ones that have the top guys, that have the Joe Burrows and all those guys, I think any team in the National Football League would love to have him. But at the end of the day, you have to know what you have with Kyler. Like, Kyler is a multi-dimensional quarterback. He can make every single throw. He can, scramble around. He can do all those things. But at the end of the day, the offensive scheme is dictated around the power run game. So whenever that happens, and a guy like James Conner is out, teams are going to really nail down on Kyler. They're going to nail down on Trey McBride, and they're going to nail down on Marvin Harrison Jr. Besides that, what else is there to the offense? And that's, and that's really the bottom line, of what it is today. Today is, you have Kyler, you have Trey McBride, and you have Marvin Harrison Jr. And that's it.
A-Dub, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us. We always appreciate the conversation.
Good to talk to you, my friend.
And we'll catch up with you soon, okay?
All right. I appreciate it, man. Go Cards.
You got it, A-Dub. Thanks.
Adrian Wilson, Ring of Honor member of the Arizona Cardinals, our guest here on the Burns and Gambo Show.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.